one is the single print. This is called poor structure, right? So they're starting those J period, and they go all the way down to about, let's see, somewhere around here, 708, right? So I'm thinking if they're able to kind of encroach this here, the 27, once they start slicing this, guys, this is going to happen rather quickly here. I wouldn't be shocked if tomorrow they try to hold this, right? The structure here, but I think the magnet's going to be pushing towards this green zone here. So if you guys go to this green zone here, and you'll see why I have that one marked. If you go on 4 hours right here, so let's see. And if you guys just kind of look at this from the top to the bottom, this is the last basically volume node that exists. And if you guys think this is a volume node, like a high volume node, really is not. They can as quickly, I would not bet too much money on this bounce here. Even numbers, right? 4,700, 46, 45. Those are the numbers where retail hops in, and just because the even number, I don't expect it to hold much. If you guys think about this, right? We spent a lot of time accumulating here, let's say up until here. So about 20 days, we had an accumulation at the top, right? Which seems to be a distribution. If that's the case, I don't think this little shelf here is going to stand a chance. I would expect us to go more around this level here, 4,600 or so. 46, this zone here would be interesting for a bounce. Because from this area here, when you think about it, we accumulated, right? We spent a lot of time. Let's see. So if you guys look here, we spent a lot of time accumulating here, and then we had this major pop here. We popped, and now I wouldn't be shocked if we were to come back to this POC, and that's something I'll keep an eye on, right? And I would most likely close my SPY puts that we got in as we approach this level, at least trim it. Otherwise, we are looking probably somewhere around here, 44, 4,500, that we would look to close. But a majority of it, I would close at this level here, just because any spike, as we're losing time, it's going to work against us on those options, right? So I would definitely watch that. Okay. All right. So looking into the days, right? If you look at today's profile, did anyone have a hard time trading today? Was it fairly simple for most, or? I think the levels worked pretty well. Everything that we had identified here, if you guys remember, I think they hit to a penny, right? I even explained about the spike multiple times, even one day today. If we are able to reclaim it, that we are targeting 67, right? It didn't go as as fast as it could, but it had a pop. Then they accumulated. Then we were trading live here. We went long, and then they hit 67, and then kind of went backwards, right? And then made lower lows, cleaned up the IBL, excess low PDL, and then bounced off of these single prints. So I thought it was a fairly easy day to trade, but what's easy for me might not be easy for you guys. What's easy for you might not be easy for me. Did anyone have any difficulty reading the market today? That's great. All you guys became experts.
No, it was good. Just really volatile. It was moving really.
It was, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stop loss candles coming our way. So yeah, I agree with that. I'm gonna mark this period here, and then I'm gonna ask you guys a question here. Let me go in 65 minutes. I'm just gonna hide this. Give it a second to pop up. Come on. All right. Anyone want to take a stab? Why? I mean, obviously single prints here, but why is this level important here? And what's it called?
Spike.
Yeah, that's our spike base, right? This is where it started. Because it's the last period, right? We care to know, right, where it happened, right? And the start at 37 here. This end period is the last 15 minutes, so we didn't really care for it. But this sell-off spike here. So tomorrow, what are the 2 ways or 3 ways you can play this? Anyone? What are the 3 scenarios?
You can wait for it to retest the spike.
Okay. See, right now we are in the middle of the spike, right? If you're in the middle of, if we open in the middle of the spike, that's still somewhat bearish, right? The only way we're going to see the rejection is if we open above this spike here, above this level here. If we open in here, that means that this sell-off here was rejected. That makes sense. Then most likely you're targeting levels somewhere above, right? And you'll figure that out. I would think somewhere around 43 would be the first one that we are after. But let's make sure. Is everybody following this or no?
That makes
Yes.
yes.
It's important that you guys know that because that could be your one play that you do a day. Honestly, it works pretty well. It worked today on a reclaim. I would target probably if we reclaim 37 and we take care of this value area low. I wouldn't, necessarily take this over 3/4 of a point. I would wait for them to reclaim this value area low, and then look to go long. But is there anyone not clear on what spike is?
I understand what the spike is, but I just don't understand what the TPO, like how to read that.
Yeah, you haven't attended the class on TPO, have you?
No, I've been watching
Okay.
some of your videos, but I just don't
No, that's
understand
okay. We'll on Saturday we're gonna have a class. If you can attend it, and then I'll make
Is
sense.
this considered like an open drive kind of like a volume
So
profile?
open drive is only the first 30 minutes, right? Open drive measures what type of auction is. And when you think about type of auction, right, there's only 4 types, right? Free, what type of auction do we have? What are the 4 types? I randomly pick people,
There's the oh my gosh, you put me on the spot. I'm sorry. The 4 types of no. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't do good under pressure. Sorry.
That's okay. I like pressure.
Types of auctions.
Yeah, there's an open drive, there's an open reversal drive, open test drive, and then there's an open auction, right? So those
Yes.
auction types are the first 30 minutes. How do we open, right? Usually they can give you a lot according to, especially when you pair the type of day you have or prior day. But TPO, so each one of these letters that you see, right? You see like C, B, A, it's right. It goes all the way to M, right? So your A's and B's are your first 1 hour, right? And then basically what it tells you is for each period of 30 minutes, where did we trade? So if you click here and you change this to split by blocks, now you can basically see here, they added a new feature finally. You can see here where they traded for the first 30 minutes, right? And in which period they traded. You see the A period, the first 30 minutes. So now watch this candle here. I'm on, let's go on 30 minutes to make this more easy. Come on. It just takes a long time when you reset it. Let me. Okay, here it goes. So if you look here, you see this is a 30-minute candle, and that's represented by letter A, right? You see that? It basically just changes all of these to letters. And now we can tell, right, where's the axis, where it's not an axis. And you see here, letter A was the lowest, which is the first 30 minutes was the lowest of the day. Then we came in the L period, right? And we made a lower low. So in this period, we really started framing down. And then the M period here, if I was to hide this again, you see the M period continued and we spiked down. And M period is the last period during the day. And that's why it's called spike, because we don't have another period to confirm if this is going to be an auction that goes back or stays there, because we spiked in the last period. There's no more periods to validate it. Does that make sense? If it doesn't,
Yes.
that's okay. We'll cover Saturday, but it should be much clearer now, right? Because each one of these candles, 30 minutes, is represented by, I would say, these letters that you see. And you can see here, right? Your B period was pretty high. C period went framing up, right? And they had a little bit of excess here. then the D period really went higher. But look at the E period, right? E period started framing down a little bit here. It never made higher highs, right? And then if you click on the candles, you'll see same thing, right? So don't get too confused with the letters, honestly. It's just taking one 30-minute candle and putting letters on for each tick size here replaces it. Okay, I'm just gonna go back and adjust this TPO. Okay, so you do note, here we have access high. So when you have tail at the top, like what you're seeing here, this here, you see how there's one single letter here, right? That means that's excess high. That means there's a other time frame seller stepping in here, and he's not letting the price go higher. So that's the 65 level here. So when you look at these levels, right, if you really want to be bullish on the day, they really need to take out the seller right here that's been present, right? And see here, we still have a poor high that hasn't been cleaned up, right? So I would say, just from experience and how it works, if we are able to clean this up, this, I would say 65 here, if you're able to go there, you're gonna most likely trigger what?
Short squeeze.
It's gonna be a really nasty short squeeze if they do this. And when you look at the levels, what you have here, and if you just look at the structure that we have on the sell-off, right? Find a candle from here, let's say up until here. It won't take much, because once they're able to fix this, there's really no volume. You're going to be outside the value area high here, so probably target 85, which is 14 points. But I would target this volume node here about 48.15 if you're able to break the 72. It could be really violent here, because I don't see any high volume nodes. A lot of hot volume is here, right? So if they're able to reclaim this POC at 54, things would turn around real quick for the bulls. Okay, so that's access high here. I'm just gonna note that.
Very quick question.
Mm-hmm.
With the profiles now overlapping, which means trend is aging, slowing down stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really expect them to go all the way down now to 46.65? Because
No, I honestly expect I expect a bounce tomorrow, and I think NFP is tomorrow, right? I think there's news.
NFP and some other stuff.
Yeah, so let's see what they have. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on tomorrow. Factory order. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, I would expect if they're gonna do this tomorrow to 4,700, I would expect a serious bounce at 4,700. And then I don't know how much news matter anymore, to be honest, like NFP and all this. Payroll's a lagging indicator in my world. I don't think it's gonna, they can manipulate it and do whatever the hell they want. But I think when you look at this, what you mentioned, right? I was gonna ask that question. When you look at these, I'm just gonna hide everything. When you look at this, what are you noticing here, right? So I explained before, how do you tell if the trend is aging, right? Do you guys recall that? Even though CK mentioned it.
Yes.
Yeah, showed you guys on volume profile, if you guys remember. Let me turn it on. Let me go on 30 minutes. So here's your volume. Oh, why is it on the left? Okay, so if you guys look here, this is your POC. Let me just make sure it's not extended. Okay, so here's your POC, value area high shifting down, right? So value area highs, if you guys are not familiar, if you're new, we'll mark these here with green on the bottom. So you see value area high shifting down, POC shifting down again. Nice little gap between the value area highs, POC shifting, and then what do you have happening here?
Overlapping.
There's overlap in the value, right? So as soon as there's an overlap in value, what do you think that means?
Slowing trend.
Let interest below.
Yeah. So think about it in terms of value. Like what does that mean in terms of value?
Value is higher.
They're happy there.
Well, they're trying to become happy here, right? So right now they're slowing down. The values are coming together. They're trying to build value here. They're finding other time frame buyers or somebody stepping in and saying, hey, this is enough. This is good. I like it here. Unless somebody who comes in here that can drive the price lower. Initiative sellers, responsible sellers, who can drive it lower?
Initiative.
Yeah, we need initiation, right? So you're going to need some heavy initiation, and it doesn't necessarily have to be heavy. And that's the only thing, CK, that's keeping me more like, yeah, we can do it, because there's literally nothing here. Like, if they lose this 27, why not get 20 points more on their orders, right? If they can manipulate this, drive it down, scare people away, dip below 4,700, let's say go to this value area low here, right, which is 46.96. I think that would be a good, really good play here. If they dip below 4,700, trap a lot of people short here, and then reverse and cause a short cover rally. Because anyone that shorts here, what do you think they're going to do immediately if it makes a single pop here?
Cover.
Oh,
Cover.
they're going to start covering like crazy. And the more they cover and more they short, the more the rally goes, right? So it's just a typical behavior. And the trend is slowing down. So CK got a really good point there. Trend is slowing down pretty good, actually, right? So you see here when I think we called this one out as well when we were going up, we got a little bit of overlap. The value areas, what does it mean when the value areas are narrow? Is it good or bad?
Bad.
Yeah,
Getting
bad.
tighter.
Yeah, tighter means that we don't have a lot of participation. That means the other big boys are not involved. That means there's a lot of two-sided activity, and it's who's trading that?
Short-term traders.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
short term.
Usually short-term traders take that, right? And they trade in there. And if you look here today, this value area is probably average, right? But it is overlapping, right? And the POC, if they reclaim this POC, let's say tomorrow, which is, TPO is at 46 and this one is here. For me personally, I would watch for this zone to be reclaimed tomorrow for a major run. If you're able to clean this up, you're going to hit 54. So that's about 8 points. And I would take these 8 points with pleasure, right? If they can absorb this and open above it, then, it's not that I'm bullish when the spike is absorbed, but what would you make out of it? If the trend is slowing down and the spike got absorbed, the spike that got sold off the last 30 minutes, what would you make out of it, CK?
That it was just larger time frame buyers that lowered the bid, and eventually they absorbed them. Is that what that
That means the trend's reversing.
Okay.
The trend
yes,
is coming
right,
to an
yes.
end. Right. And is there ways that you can kind of look at that and see what really happens? Yeah, that's why we use, TPOs, we have volume profile, and, if you have footprint charts, footprints can also confirm whether you have completed auction, excess low, excess highs, right? And look at it, right? And I'll look at the footprints tomorrow morning before open. We'll share them and see what we see. But at this time, right, they would take some significant selling here, right? Make lower lows here below 33, clean up 27, and I think this happens quick. And this could be used as a nice little trap in my world. If you crack this, come back, I mean, you could cause some really, really harsh pain here for the shorts. Okay.
So it's okay to be bullish, because as of now we are still one time value down. So one is of course you make a higher high and a session.
I mean, yeah, definitely. But this, we have some poor highs here, right? I would call this, it looks like a P shape. I would say, I'm sorry, lowercase b in ETH. But when you switch here, this is almost like a perfect D shape here. This looks like a double distribution, and you have a poor high here, right? And then if you come back to this, we have a little bit of excess low here, not as strong. Major excess high on the, so I think this could be a negotiating process right now, especially with the overlap. If we reclaim this value area low tomorrow, right? I mean, that would be a really, really good sign. for the bulls, right? As soon as they reclaim this, they pop forward as POC, things will, I would say things start lining up for them in their favor, right? To cause and end this framing down here. Framing down meaning that this is your PDL, or I'm sorry, PDH. And you're going to be making higher highs, right? So if you think about it, you're going from structure. Here you have a lower high, lower high, lower high. And this would be what? If you're
Change
able
of
to,
character.
this becomes your change of character, and therefore now you're going to be making higher highs and hopefully some higher lows, and that means the trend is ending and shifting, right? Change. So, but if they're able to clean this up, I would expect pretty significant pop, honestly. Let me see. So if this is our, let's say I ignore this day here, I'll include all of this. Yeah, I mean, if they can reclaim this level here, about 42, I would still target this 45 to be cleaned up. They can make a major push to about 69, 70. This will be our cumulative POC of quite a bit, right? This is December 12th, FMOC all the way till here. I wouldn't be surprised if they clean this up tomorrow. And I think there's a lot of people that are still betting short, right? And let's see what they do. I wouldn't mind a nice little trap first for the shorts and then pop. For me, it depends where we open. If we open above this 37, I would target whatever this is, POC at 46. Let's see this one right here.
You will take a first shot at 46.
Mark. Say it again.
You will take a first shot right at the 46.
Well, you're fairly low, CK. Your mic's.
Sorry, I'm saying, will you take a? Am I audible now?
Yeah, I can hear you well.
Okay, I said, will you take a shot right out of the gate at 46, like first shot?
I think it might be good, right? To take a short here because they sold off. It just depends how if we open above this spike, like open above it, and if we open inside the value area, I would not take that short.
I was just thinking because this lines up with the value in the low of the 1 day prior.
Yeah, that's why I highlighted this, right? The only way I would turn full bullish is if they execute something like this. This is what I would target. This would be my long here. If I'm gonna play this short, I mean, I have to be cautious. There's not a lot of, I would say, meat for me here because the value area low is here. If they reject this and they bounce here, I mean, what am I playing? 4 points? I don't know if I have it enough, and it depends where we open. If we open way below and then we drive up and we are exhausted a little bit, I would take it. But if we open inside the value area, I don't know if that would be enough, climax there for buyers to get exhausted for me to short. Because this is not a big old candle here, like a dump, right? This is more like, hey, we accumulated and then sold off retest.
And opening inside value level means like acceptance, piece of acceptance. So
Yeah, you're fairly low. You said opening inside the value area?
yeah, opening inside value area, so above value level, so anyways acceptance.
Yeah, that would mean that they're accepting this here. So that I would definitely not short this.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because think about it. If they're accepting this value and they reclaimed value area low, what's the probability that they're going to traverse the whole value area? There's 80% chance. So I'm not willing to take this short here. If there's 80% chance you're going to go here, I'd rather take this long here and drive it to this personally. There's not enough meat for me to take this short here if we open inside the value. 4 or 5 points is, especially in the morning, is nothing.
Thank you, Shorty.
Good to hear you, man.
Shorty, I have a question about like maybe the last 10 minutes of today's trade. So for the ES, I was long at 38, and then once it lose it, what would be the indication that I should exit my position? Like I hold it all the way and then got stop out.
So you went long on this candle. Where'd you go long? Sorry.
Yeah, at the one you pointed at the 330.
At 330?
Yeah. So the
Like
yeah
here?
38. Yeah, because it was a previous low, I think. So
So you went long here and you didn't take any profits?
I took one off. Like I long 3, MES, and then took
Mhm.
one off. Yeah,
Okay. So
around 40.
what were you targeting?
I was targeting the PD WePark.
45?
Yeah.
Okay, because that was the POC for today there. I mean, I don't think the play that you took is bad necessarily, right? But I'm not sure where the value area was at that time, if it shifted or not. I would have targeted probably value area first, but let's see. So you took this and it went to 43. I mean, you had the right setup, right?
Uh-huh.
The only thing that I do when, especially towards the, as you see, the last, in my opinion, you reclaim the value area. Most likely, you're going to go for the POC, right? It's called the reversion to the mean.
Yep.
So I think you had the right mind, right trade. But usually, if you're trading something like that and you see the momentum is not getting there, and I would say we had some delta here, if I recall, and I'll check. We had some serious delta on ES in this area here.
Mm-hmm.
So that if you don't have the deltas, that's okay. But you could have used maybe even some fibs in between, right? If you use this in between to know, like, hey, what are the points for the rejection now that we are below the POC? Because right here they went to the POC, and you see that they did
So
not
the
agree
tick.
on that fair
Yeah.
price. They did not think the fair price was here, so then they spiked it down. So if they didn't believe the fair price was here now,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't expect immediate reclaim to that level, if that makes
Got
sense.
it. Yeah. Yeah. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
And it's more of a logical rather than technical. But if you see here, they sold off pretty aggressive, bearish kicking candle, reclaimed this, and this candle. I don't know how volume was on this, but you see the volume here.
Yeah.
They didn't really stop it. They didn't really stop anything with this candle here. That's why this candle here, with a little bit uptick in volume, caused the chaos. Right, and even this one here is not so confirming that they won't higher.
Mm-hmm.
If this candle had much bigger volume when you took it, I think you could have expected to see this,
To
right?
the
But I don't
POC.
think, I don't think they're ready to go there.
Got it.
Like if you look at this candle here, you have a pretty wide body candle and there's not enough buying volume here. And I'm on 5 minutes. I don't think anything changes. Look at this hammer candle here. You have a major handle candle and volume
The
never,
volume's low. Yeah.
it never really gave you a stop. Yeah, based on this, the way we closed and volume, I think we could potentially finish tomorrow towards 4,700, and that would be really good trap levels here. But yeah, I think you had the right trade in mind. I mean, it just didn't go to where you wanted it to go, and
Yeah.
you go like on 10 minutes. That's that's a fucking nasty candle here, man. That's a
Yeah.
it absorbed 3 candles, 3 bodies there. So it basically reclaimed 50% of this candle here. So you had the right trade in mind. I just don't think you had enough momentum to go there. A lot of people are expecting a lot of V shapes when they trade because the market creates that memory in people's brains that we bounced off a key level and people expect it always to retrace 100%. Well,
Yeah.
my idea is that it's better off to take majority of your profit at 50%, and if you have a runner, let it run.
I see.
Right. So if you had 3 there, right, at 38 or whatever you grabbed, and it's running, let's say you took this, because it's all about symmetry when you're using fibs, right?
Mm-hmm.
If this is my, high and this is my low, if you fib that out 50% somewhere around here, this is your high, this is your low. I mean, you can figure out, especially if you notice that it's rejecting, look where it's rejecting, and then again, golden pocket. So you
Yeah.
could have used fibs on something like this to figure out, where do you take your profits and what do you be careful on? And you see that, they followed nicely here, 50%, golden pocket, 50%. And I'm pretty sure this one here would be probably 38.2 here that it hit perfectly. Let's see, for shits and giggles. And perfect.
Got
So
it.
it's kind of, you can use this trick on the symmetry between swing high and swing low, swing high, swing low to use it, unless you're getting an indication from volume profile. If you use this, you wouldn't have had this, so maybe you would have had only this here. And if you, let's hide this guy for a second. It's not like you had a lot of indication. It just looks like a normal value area, right? You don't have any spikes. You don't have anything here. The only thing you could have done is grab this little area here and look at the POC.
Yeah.
That would be another trick that I would use. And you typically, whenever I trade live, I don't know if you guys notice, sometimes I focus on small areas to find the POCs where they can reject or whatnot, right? And this would be one of the tricks I would use. This plus the fibs, I think it would have done the trick.
Got
But you had the right, I think you had the right idea, because I think I took the same trade.
it. Yeah, I was basically following you, but instead of doing it at NQ, I was doing it at ES because it has a 38 was the previous bounce area.
Yeah. Typically, when I make money, when I make enough for the day and I go into scalping, I typically go off of the dollar amount. So if I'm up, and you guys hear me, I'm up on one contract, 150, 200, I immediately start trailing because I'm just adding to my profits. And when I'm green on the profits, I really don't like to give any of my money back. And I did give $700 today of my profits.
That was
I
misclick,
oversized.
right? Yeah.
I bought 10 contracts instead of one.
Yeah.
So I pretty much, went 9 times more than what I should have, and that hurt, right? So, but that's okay. I ended green. But that's what I would typically do. If you bought 3, but considering, the whole day, if you see here, you're making higher highs, this was your lower high shift. And then you see that this, if you just go here off of this supply, right here, let me go to this level. You see that there's a supply here, and then you had a accumulation at this level that they basically come back and revisit right here, right? So if you see here, they found somewhere at the bottom of it, they came back, revisited, and sold off. So we're making lower highs. You
Yeah.
changed here the character, and then you started making lower highs altogether. So that's where, when I was going up, when I was shorting, I mentioned I'm shorting only for small points. But when you're making lower highs and lower lows, if you're going long, counter trend, you shouldn't be expecting all the time that we're gonna reverse and run full speed like a V-shaped recovery. A lot of people get accustomed to that, and that's where people blow up their accounts because they want more.
Yeah.
Right? It creates the idea of the greed, and that's where people get punished.
Yeah. Especially when you're trading counter trends. Yeah. Got it. Yeah.
Counter trends, if you're seeing that we're making lower highs and lower lows, and you can go 5 minutes and see, right? And if you guys are struggling with that, there's an indicator, double zigzag. Look, the big lines are your macro trends, and the bottom, like these low ones, are your micros. And you see here, lower high, it's already making lower highs here. And now I confirmed lower high, lower low. Once you clean this up, it's basically telling you, hey, we're making lower lows. And it's fairly clear that you're making a trend change right here, right? In my world.
Yeah.
So just be aware of that, right? Are you trending up for the day or trending down? And you see here, right? We had the PDH, the poor high. We never really got to it. Right. So I don't know.
Shorty, what is the name of this indicator?
This one's called double zigzag with higher high, lower low.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Let's see.
Thank you, Shorty.
Welcome. So I think that's from the bigger picture. I want to mention this to you guys, so you guys can at least get in the habit of looking at it. Let me change this to a monthly so you guys can see it. On on Shorty's corner, I posted something that it could repeat, right? The cycle could repeat. So if you guys look here, This is the cycle that I was talking about repeating. What did we do here? If you guys look in December of 2021, what happened with price and value area?
Accumulation.
Well, price went up, value area stayed. It was value that was supposed to chase the price, and the value never really chased. It went up, then they dipped. Now, if you look at this December, what happened?
Same.
They went
Yeah, that's
above
me.
price, and in this case, it's actually worse because last time the value actually expanded. Here, we contracted and we broke inside of it. And now when you look at this, just simply looking at monthly profiles, right? What is the level that you should be targeting? Bigger picture. I'm not talking like tomorrow. I'm talking more like as we are coming, what is the magnet? Careful how you answer.
4,600.
Be like specific on like December level or like October.
POC, and then the value area low.
Take a look at this. Do you see this level right here?
Yes.
Why is this level important?
It's 3 value area highs.
It's 3 value area highs, and if we, if you come here and you're able to bounce, what would that mean?
It means acceptance above.
That means we're accepting the price is higher, right? Because this is your really 3 months of value area highs, and this was the breakout, right? It was a decent breakout. Volume has been crap, right? All of December, but if they come back here, I would expect some serious buyer to step in. If, a typical, what they did a while back, I don't know if you guys recall, where was it? It was somewhere around here. I don't know. I'll have to go on the yearly. We had like 2020 value area high. I don't know if you guys recall, and we bounced literally off of 2020 value area high and went higher. But they did go inside of it, right? They went inside of the value and then they bounced, right? And here, if you think about it, what could they do here? Well, if they lose 46.50 and they come to this 2-month POC, which is also December VPOC, if they come here, that would be a nice little setup, right? Where on a longer scale, if they dip inside and then use this as a launch pad, that would, kill everybody here that plays on this setup, and they would get crushed by this buying opportunity here. But this level is going to definitely offer a bounce. And that's where I'm targeting to close majority of my SPY puts here. Okay. So sometimes just zoom out, right? Look at the value areas. Are we shifting higher? Are we shifting lower? If you see here, we started overlapping a little bit. Oops, man, this thing drives me crazy. So you see here, value area high, value area low. That's pretty healthy, right? And then you see a little bit of overlap, small auctions slowing down. That's only after 3 months it started slowing down. Now, if this is true, if we take this, from May, we potentially take all of this and now draw an FVP on these months and see where's the level and look. I don't think you want to be shorting close to this level, right? If you're not short here, definitely don't fucking short here, because you're going to learn a hard lesson like these people that shorted 41.40 here. Wherever that was. Should have been here, but maybe it's off. Why is it showing 41.73?
Because contract change, I think.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's adjust. Yeah. That's why I'm like, oh, what's going on? So this level is the same thing. You do not want to be, I would say, shorting that necessarily there.
That's what I was thinking. POC is 4,400. It's probably because of B adjust. It was showing 46.24.
Yeah, that's it was 45. It was showing it here, right? Let me see.
It was showing right in the green zone.
Yeah, right in the middle of the green zone. I don't know why it was on. I don't back adjust my charts ever.
Because 43.80 is huge, as in huge. Second huge to
Well, I mean,
41.40.
This level here, yeah, this is your new 41.40.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is I don't know why it was on. Yeah, this one's not on. Yep, so just make sure, unless you back adjust yourself, I don't, but yeah. And this level has a lot more room to go now that I look at it. So at this level stays the same, but this level here, December shifts. And this level here is more like here. $45.70. Let me turn this. That's no longer valid. So this is space in between. I think this is the, yeah. This is FMOC or something here, the gap up.
Contract switch.
Yeah, that's a, I think non-farm payroll. They run it up, gapped up that
No,
day.
that was contract switch, 50 points.
Oh, okay, okay.
On December 7th?
Mm-hmm. 7th or
Okay.
9th somewhere.
Okay. Well, that's
See that pink arrow at the bottom? That shows.
yeah, this Friday, December 8th.
Got
Yeah,
it.
that's pretty smart. I don't even know what the hell that was.
Yeah, thank you.
I thought it was like a merge button. That's what it looks like to me. I think these levels stay the same. Below, oh, it does not. It's more like 45.70, and then below that, I think 4,400 would be. If this was to go to 4,400, that would be pretty good. That'd be pretty nice because this node and this node here are fairly close. Slight more volume in this one. Yeah, I would target this 45.70. I think 46.29 being a contract switch settle, right? I think they could, if they clean this up, most likely they're gonna clean these up and go to 45.70. So this would be almost like a two months POCs within 6 points. I would definitely not look short here in this range. Okay. Cut things off here. This doesn't make sense. Can't be that high. I was on the monthlies. Yeah. So ideally we want to reclaim 40 tomorrow, especially if we open above this 37. I think we will most likely hit 45. Over 45, I would expect some major things to shape up for the bulls here. Probably target this zone here. This right here. And then ultimately if they crack that, then probably go here. 47.90 or so. Okay. Any questions on ES? All right, I'll be trading live with you guys tomorrow, and hopefully we catch some good ones.
Thanks, Shorty.
Thank you, Shorty. Get some rest.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.